Sir, Mr. Swagger, sir. Reporter Daily here.
Yes.
We have pressing questions.
Go ahead.
We would like to know what thoughts you have on the recent scandal regarding your sex tape, Mr. Swagger.
Oh, shit. I would never cheat on my wife. That is a doctored video that's got the fake AI bullshit that puts my face on it. That's not me. I love my wife dearly. I would never, ever cheat on her with another woman. I'm a faithful man.
Okay, first of all, we never were talking about you cheating on your wife. We were more focused on the fact that your dick is really small. In fact, it's kind of hard to see it for any of those that viewed it at home, but it is there. It's about 0.001 Planck length, the smallest possible length that life could have.
You don't care that I cheated on my wife with a porn star?
No. I mean, we all do it.
The president did that. It's not that big a deal.
Every once in a while.
You care about my dick size?
Yeah, that's the only thing
course.
anyone's ever cared about,
Yeah.
sir. So, what's it like having such a small penis?
Why is your dick so small?
I don't have
what
a
have you
small
been doing?
dick.
I mean, sir,
What have you been doing?
we have the evidence. We slowed down the video. We had our digital specialists enhance. In fact, Jim, could you pull that up for us?
There's no need to enhance such an image because it's so
Enhancing
big.
penis. Zooming in on penis.
Penis size measure.
No.
0.00037 Planck length. As I said, that is how
No, that's not
small
true.
your dick is.
My dick
That's just how
is
it
a
is.
hard 8 inches.
Mr. Swagger, we
might
would
have
like to
been
know,
8.
do you have to buy different underwear given how small your penis is?
Even if I had a small dick, which I don't, if I did have a small dick, I would just wear normal underwear because it doesn't matter.
You think I could fuck your small dick? Like if my huge, I have like a 3-inch dick, like a huge dick compared to yours, right? You think I could like push it in so far it basically becomes a vagina?
Now theoretically here, not that I have a small dick, but if one were to say put their penis in my penis when it's small, then maybe you could fuck it like a vagina.
Is it like one of those little plastic things that you pop in and pop out? You think I could like push it in and then it'd pop out like that? You know what I'm talking about?
Hypothetically, let's say I have a small penis, then yes, you could do that. But I don't have a small penis. I'm a world-class rapper. I would never have a small penis.
Yes, I think that would kill all your street cred, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah, which is why I have right here your wife. Come on in, Mr. Swagger's wife.
You son of a bitch! I'm sorry. I didn't mean... I was not in that video. I was not.
I leave for 2 days to see my chihuahua's heart surgery, and where do you end up? In the bed of some floozy.
Okay, Miss Swagger, the world is asking, the nation, the country, I am asking you this question right now, personally, as a representative of the Daily News,
No, don't
of
ask
the Daily
her.
Mail. How small is his dick?
It's just like you said. I mean, he showed it to me, and I said, where is it? And then he pulled out this quantum microscope, and he said, you have to calibrate it 25 degrees left, and then you can see it.
Has he had sex with you? Is it possible to have sex with him?
I just let him pretend. I tell him I can feel it. I mean...
No, you liked it. You liked it, you bitch.
It's... The Emperor has no clothes on. It's like we both know it's not happening, but we're
think
pretending.
your vagina is actually longer than his dick?
Absolutely.
You think you could
No,
fuck his
no.
dick before he fucks you?
Absolutely.
No, that's not true. Stop lying, you son of a bitch. Because you know why? You loved it. And not only that, but these two
I
reporters'
loved your
wives.
money, Swagger. I love the cash that came with your hard hip-hop lifestyle.
Oh yeah? I don't care anymore. Because I fucked their wives. I don't need you. I have their
Whoa,
wives.
My wife. Oh, come here. Okay, let's verify that. All right, come on, my wife.
Elizabeth, what do you have to say about that? Oh yeah, I definitely say that's true.
Oh, yeah, that's a small penis. If I've seen one, it's even smaller than yours, my lord. Yeah, listen, I love you, but oh man, he's a small dick.
Oh my God, how drunk was I? You don't even sound like a woman.
Oh, I'm not a woman.
You can't say that
I'm
about
just an
his wife.
Irishman.
That's not very professional.
I'm just an Irishman wearing a skirt.
And I'm from North Dakota. We all sound like this.
This is our wind snare sound?
I can't
Fucking idiot.
believe this. Not only do I have a small penis, but my rap career is canceled.
And didn't you know this? Pulls off mask. I'm also your wife.
Oh
We're all your wife.
No one could ever listen to my music now because of how small my dick is.
Speaking of not listening to music because of an artist, let's have a discussion here, guys. There's a little bit of gray area when it comes to listening to artists. Like, if an artist is a really bad dude, like a really bad person, let's just set the parameters here. I'll tell you about this black metal band called Mayhem. There was a musician, the guitarist in the band, who came into the room of one of his band members who had killed himself and took a picture of that scene and used it for one of the live album covers. That band member later was murdered by another one of his band members, stabbed to death like 50 times. I would not listen to their music, personally. But I would listen to, I don't know, Bruno Mars. He seems like a cool dude.
I mean, Jesus, I was not expecting that.
That's just something right out the gate. Holy shit. Just introducing the topic, like, yeah, so there's this guy that killed himself, Kurt Cobain style, and then, fucking used it as art.
It was on Live Leak.
I mean,
Quite a story.
I feel like the victim's family, I mean, they must have had to, like, sign off on the cover or that, or they're suing him.
I
You can't just publish that shit.
mean, I think it was just like, it wasn't officially, it's just like a live album, so they sold it at shows, and stuff, right? So it wasn't like officially released or anything.
I mean, people have sued for much less.
It's Finland, man. Who knows what the laws are there?
I mean, I guess that is true.
And the guy died later anyway.
So what do I care as
Soon
an
after.
American?
I don't know, just using an example. Like,
I mean, I can't believe isn't Finland supposed to be in like the top 10 happiest
no,
countries in the world?
it definitely is. It's just like the black metal scene there is insane. Like, those people are insane, man. Like,
I mean, clearly are
yeah,
fucking insane.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't think I'd listen to him either.
Okay, so
But not because they did that, but because it's black metal.
Not like that. Good night, everybody.
Not like that.
Good night, everybody. See you next month.
All right, that's it for the Shitposting and Hell podcast. Thank you for listening. Anyways, yeah, that's a good example of a musician that I would not listen to because of how bad they are. But there's a point where it comes where it's not really that clear cut. Like, how bad of a person they are is not as like clear. What do you think about this, guys?
I think I just think an example I would give, one more understandable example would be Chris Brown for us Americans. And to be honest, Chris Brown kind of makes like shitty music already, so it's not nearly as tempting as some other people. But with him, even if he did make good music, I couldn't really support it. For those who maybe don't know, because it was a few years ago, he is the ex-boyfriend of Rihanna. They used to date like almost like a decade ago. And it's like, but the problem is that one day, he was older than her. I don't remember. He was like in his 20s, and she was
That's
Rihanna.
not okay in a relationship, by the way. If the guy's older than the woman, that's not okay. Just putting that out there. Oh
That's
wait, shit,
literally
that's
the
my
common standard.
wait, that's my relationship. Oh no.
Ah, boy. A lot of cutting in this one. But but Rihanna was 19 years old, and he was like early 20s, I think. And one day he just like beat the hell out of her, like really savagely, like so bad, like she needed to get like stitches like in her face. Just like this like 20-year-old like man like beating this like petite like 19-year-old girl. And she like tried to call the police, and he like threw her phone out the window. So yeah, like that's like really awful, right? But the worst part of it, I think the part that makes it worst is that he came back from it. It was just one of those things where he just came back from it. He kind of apologized. That was good enough for some people. Rihanna kind of forgave him, which a lot of people think was a really bad move because it sets a bad example for other like domestic abuse victims. Yeah, and he just had a normal fine career, and he basically he won a Grammy after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he won a Grammy like a few years after that incident happened. And I have to admit, I don't like Seth Rogen, but he actually made a really good joke about that whole thing. He was at like some award ceremony, and he's like, at the Oscars, if you say something offensive, you're not even allowed within 300 feet of the place. Meanwhile, in the Emmys, you beat the crap out of one of the nominees, they ask you to perform. And it's like, that's like the one good joke he's ever made in his entire life. So I guess what Chris Brown did isn't objectively as bad as that Finnish band, but like what he still did was messed up, and the fact that he had almost no punishment for it, it makes me like angry. It's like do not want to listen to this guy just because, he's too smug already. He's too full of himself already. He already thinks, he's like OJ. He's like, yep, I got away with it, folks. Nothing you can do about it now.
What's up, Twitter world? I beat the shit out of her and you can't do anything about it.
Hey, Twitter world. It's yours truly.
Now, hypothetically, and I'm not saying that I did, but if I did beat the shit out of Rihanna, this is how I would have done it.
I mean, he didn't even
He the fuck out of it.
Yeah,
even though there's video evidence, he's like, this is how I would beat the shit out of her. Again and again, over and over, describing it 300 words.
I mean, just something like
300 pages.
So yes, like Chris Brown, he was like a famous one in American culture. Or to say that did something really bad. I mean, would you listen to his music? Let's say he made good music for the hypothetical.
If he made really good music, I probably might listen. It's hard to say because he doesn't make good music.
Yeah.
I'd say a good comparison is John Lennon because he did beat the shit out of his ex-wife, right?
Oh, yeah,
like he did do that, right?
Yeah.
And gonna be honest, I listen to the Beatles sometimes. I enjoyed the Beatles. Like I'm not gonna be a hypocrite here. Like the music is really good, and that fucker's dead anyway. It's like I'm not gonna be giving any money to this guy like by doing this. The people that are alive, Paul McCartney and some other guy, I think I don't remember. Sorry.
The other one.
They seem cool. They didn't beat the hell out of their wife. So personally, I don't see anything like wrong with it because you can kind of separate the art from the artist most of the time.
In the Beatles scenario.
Yeah, in the Beatles scenario.
Yeah, with the Beatles, I mean, I listen to some Beatles songs. I'm not really a huge fan, but I like some of their songs. And I mean, yeah, he was more repentant about it. He actually admitted, like in a interview, that's where we get all this from, because he admitted that he actually did it. That's how we know about it. And so he was apologetic for it. I guess it makes it better. It's better than Chris Brown, who did not show remorse for what he did. It's always better when they show like a little remorse. So yeah, I listen to the Beatles still. Mm-hmm. But one that's kind of interesting is Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Because technically speaking, his stuff is unproven. He was never convicted of anything. Yeah. But I don't know. Personally, I think I do believe he did it. I mean, if you look at like his life, like in the later years, like he was pretty insane. He was like pretty off the rails. And it's like if he was doing all this crazy shit like in the public life, I mean, like literally like destroying his own body, doing like an artificially created baby and then naming it Blanket, and like he built like a park, like a playground like in his backyard.
House, yeah.
It's like and then he hung out with a lot of children.
Didn't he sleep in beds with them?
Isn't that proven? In beds with their children. It was proven that he slept in the beds. And so just my question, it's like, we know that he slept in these beds, right, with the kids. It's like, so you really think he did that and no touching ever happened during this like the month like he spent like sleeping like in that bed with that one kid? Like, do you really think nothing happened? Like, that just doesn't seem likely to me.
Because it's like, if the parents are already sending their kids to be alone with a stranger for a month, are they gonna, like, they're obviously being paid off by Michael Jackson. Are they gonna really admit that you're sending your kid to be raped, right? You don't want to admit that to yourself or anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, it's
you prefer it to not be true.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. But yeah, they did it, because of the stats. Like, holy crap, my kid's hanging out with Michael Jackson, which means I'm kind of hanging out with Michael Jackson. And I can tell everyone that I know Michael Jackson. I've been to Michael Jackson's house.
Yeah,
that's a huge bragging rights. And so, but I do like a lot of his music. So with him, I actually took a modified stance. I will listen to his music, but I won't pay money for his music. That's my thing with him specifically.
I'd say that's generally good. Like, if they have like sexually assaulted anyone or like sexually harassed, like at least you can like debate, like, okay, can you separate the artist in this case? Like most of the times if it's sexual assault, usually that's a pretty hard one. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. But if you pirate their music, then like you're not supporting them. You're literally just
listening to it on YouTube.
Yeah, just like using ad block on YouTube, that doesn't give them any fucking money, right?
At that point, though, I would want to try and avoid any ability of giving them money, period. Because even sometimes, while you're pirating it, what I do is I take hypothetically, what I would do if I did it is take the URL of the YouTube video, right?
Yes, YouTube to MP3. It's not. It's barely even pirating, man. It's just using a website. You're not even using a torrent.
You don't. I mean, you don't want to admit that kind of stuff online. So yeah, that is a hypothetical thing.
Okay.
Hypothetically, what I would
hypothetically semi-torrenting.
If I did it.
If I did.
By Evan.
There you go.
It's
just like, that ads just pop up sometimes, even with ad block. Some of them squeeze through, and it's like, well, shit, I gave money to, this guy. Like, one for me that's really hard is XXX Tentacion.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is so much controversy to his past, where he's everything that we've stated up to this point. He's like,
abuser,
besides,
kidnapper,
taking a photo
homophobic
of people. Yeah, he's done so much bad shit, but he genuinely makes some good music. Some of his music is like, wow, okay, this is wow. And for me, what it is I'll go through periods where it's like, but his music is good, so I like it, I'll listen to it. And then I think deep down, wait, I don't want to support this guy. I don't want to be seen as someone that's apologetic to this guy.
See, the way to solve that is to listen to it on Spotify, because that gives them no money. Because Spotify streams give you 0.00003 cents, about the size of your dick. But yeah, Spotify's terrible with that. Anyways, X, kind of a hard one, because he beat the hell out of his girlfriend, but he also trapped her in the bathroom for multiple days as he was playing Minecraft with Little Uzi or something.
Yeah,
she escaped out the house.
Crazy.
And he randomly beat the hell out of a guy because he was gay. It's he's a really bad dude, but he is dead too.
Yeah, I mean, one could
Doesn't
argue.
make it any better.
Well, you could
what money's going to him? He's fucking dead.
That's true. It does go to his kid.
Yeah, so there's the difference.
Family
And plus,
do that.
I'm not going to make the claim, whether he got what he deserved or whatever. That's kind of a hard thing to say.
I don't know about that.
Something you wouldn't want to say.
Yeah, but what I am saying is that he did meet an unfortunate end. That's true, regardless.
Yeah.
And so you kind of that kind of adds some sympathy on their side. Where, like I said, Chris Brown, he had none of that. Chris Brown, he's still living that same baller life, and X committed similar crimes, and now he's dead.
Isn't Chris Brown still making music?
Yeah, he doesn't get a ton of hits. Actually, I think he had a hit
recently, I thought.
Fairly recently, but it was a big stretch before that.
I only know the Freaky Friday one they did with Lil Dicky.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. Yeah, well,
Lil
that was
Dicky and
also
Chris
terrible.
Brown. I think listening to Lil Dicky's actually worse, just morally.
Morally,
because
that's
he's
true.
so unfunny.
That is true.
Because he brags about his Lil Dicky. He should be canceled like the guy in our skit.
Yeah, like that guy.
Yeah.
Whoever that guy was.
Just kidding. I love you, Lil Dicky, please.
If you're listening to this, Lil Dicky, fuck you. That that thing at the beginning, that was about you, dumbass.
Oh yeah, that'll get him. He's crying himself to sleep
Yeah,
tonight.
cry.
But he's Jewish, so it's actually anti-Semitic by saying that.
But
anyways,
I just on the Tentacion thing. Honestly, I'm kind of actually in the minority for this, which is kind of strange. But I don't listen to any music that has been made by murderers. I think that's kind of screwed up. I don't like people brag about killing people. I've never understood that. I think it kind of shows a degree of sociopathy to brag about that, knowing that you can't get prosecuted for it. So the biggest names, 21 Savage, the classic gangster rappers, it's none of them I don't listen to any of them, because they're I killed people and it's cool, yo. Or sometimes they're even sometimes they're kind of sad about it, but they're still admitting publicly that they've killed people illegally.
Freddie Gibbs, a gangster rapper, went on Joe Rogan and he was talking about a homeless dude who was taking something from him or something. He was I shot the guy 9 times, and Rogan was oh, okay. Dude, on a public podcast, I shot a guy maybe to death.
Yeah, that's definitely not something I want to support. So I guess that's my limit, I guess. So I guess I'm willing to listen to the music while not giving any money to people that commit sexual assault, but
absolutely not.
But I guess murder. Well, I mean, do you listen to Michael Jackson?
That's the thing, is that since it hasn't been proven, at that point it's still fair game.
Do you listen to David Bowie?
David Bowie?
He was accused of raping a minor.
Yeah, him. Yeah. I do listen to David Bowie, but I definitely don't like that stuff.
I don't recall the last time that I listened to him, besides when we
listened to Black Star, which is a very good album, but I prefer to pirate it.
Thankfully, I don't really like his music, so I don't have to worry about that one specifically. But yeah, I guess but murder, I guess, is where I draw the line. I I don't really listen to murderers. I just think that's just kind of messed up.
Yeah, I get that. Generally, it's like I can usually just listen to any artist because it's like with music, it's usually not even a individual like process. Like, yeah, someone might be writing it, but you have to have engineers, you have to have producers, you have to masters. A lot of people have extra writers to help them. Or if they're in a band, like Beatles, like it's not just John Lennon, of course, it's everybody who's helping them out. So it's like you're not solely endorsing that person.
Yeah.
And also the art that they make is not like them most of the times, Since it's made by so many people, it's not like them as individuals. It's a collective different thing.
Except there's the cases where, like I mentioned, with like the gangster rap, where it's like people that have killed people making music about killing people, which they then make money off of, the songs about them killing people. Like in cases like that, where it's like, well, that's really direct.
It's pretty direct.
So now we talked about music, I kind of wanted to branch out a little bit. Are there any actors or like directors that you guys have like blacklisted or have like problems watching and stuff?
Literally anyone that like got Me Too'd and it was proven true.
Wasn't there a pedophile director who made like The Pianist or something?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think, pedophiles, definitely staying away from that.
So all right, any of you guys, which of the was Weinstein involved like in
he was
all
not
the
a pedophile.
Oh, and I guess he wasn't, but he is
weird shit.
But he's
okay. He was producer for a lot of them.
He has but it's not like one case of sexual assault. It's really like a network of sexual assault.
Of course, Harvey Weinstein, a disgusting rapist.
And he
was a producer. He didn't have that much involvement in the movies, at least.
He makes a good deal of the money from those movies.
Well, isn't he in prison now?
Yeah, well, we've talked.
Prison.
I thought he.
No, I'm pretty sure he's still in
was.
prison.
There was someone that came back from
Kevin Spacey's
Me
fine.
Too'd. No, not Kevin Spacey. I have not seen him in anything besides that one.
No, he's not in prison.
Yeah.
His accusers actually mostly mysteriously died or were paid off.
Well, no, I think Weinstein. I think he is in jail. It was Tekashi 6ix9ine that literally got his sentence cut 2 months in because of COVID. Like, what the fuck? Like, that was where he literally got released on April 1st.
Oh, really?
It's like,
that's pretty funny.
What type of shit is that? But
keep making
music.
I thought Harvey Weinstein was the one that came back and like did a comedy special.
What?
No,
not for like TV or anything. Like
he's a producer. He's a producer. He doesn't make
Louis C.K.
Was it? Oh, it was Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. did not come back and do a stand-up special.
Who the fuck did a stand-up special then?
You're thinking of nobody.
I swear.
Are you thinking of Chris D'Elia or something?
Somebody came back and did a comedy special.
Louis C.K. did like an impromptu show at like a small comedy club.
Yeah,
but it wasn't officially a race.
It wasn't like a Netflix special or Comedy Central.
That was Louis C.K. who like did just a random.
That's the closest one I can think of, because I don't think Chris did one.
Came back and did stand-up.
Yeah, I don't think Chris did one after all that stuff happened with him.
Louis C.K. was sexual harassment. Remember, he jerked off in front of women.
That's right.
He wasn't a rapist, which
it's not good.
Is
but
terrible.
But compared to the other crimes we've talked about, it's kind of low.
Yeah, I guess. I'd say comparing the crimes is unnecessary, but especially, I guess I don't feel as bad about like having liked him in the past as I guess I never really liked Chris D'Elia or I don't know, Tarantino. Yeah, it's so sad, man.
I liked Chris D'Elia. That was kind of sad. That was kind of unfortunate. Yeah, I guess there is that stuff in the comedic world. For me, it's kind of different, because I guess this kind of almost goes into not really technically crimes, but more. I don't support any Scientologists. So John Travolta and Tom Cruise, I watched no movies with them in them. I just don't do it, because because all that money goes right into Scientology's pockets, and then they start hurting, and they continue hurting people and brainwashing people. And it's like, I can't support that.
Yeah.
Why don't you want to join Scientology?
Yeah.
Because you have to.
Why don't you want to join Scientology?
Join us, Liam.
Tell us, Liam. Don't you want to be like Tom Cruise? Go on a helicopter, do a little stunts? Isn't it fun? You may be an actor. You can do a lot of stuff.
L. Ron Hubbard, save me. No, Hubbard, save me, dead. Please.
He's like the guy from Fallout New Vegas. He's Mr. House. He's down in a cryogenic pod.
Obscure video game reference achieved.
Yes.
So for me,
Not obscure.
For me, not really actors and like musicians are the ones that like get to me and are like, oh no, I can't figure out if I like this artist or not, or if I can listen to their work or not. Usually for that, it's clean cut. If they're a pedophile, if they've done sexual assault, if they've murdered anyone, and even like beating women or children or anything like that, I usually like go, kind of don't want to. I'd rather not. I will avoid it. I would try and avoid their work. But for me, it's YouTubers, which is a huge issue currently. Because I say this all the time. You literally can't like anyone on the internet anymore.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of. I mean, the sad part is that it's relevant to us now, and in like the future, 1 year, 2 years time, this message will still be relevant, most likely.
Yeah,
I mean, this stuff's happening all the time.
Of course.
Yeah, it's like every week there's someone new on the platform that comes out as like a pedophile or a rapist or something. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, one that hit really hard for me was Carson. Call Me Carson. Because it was like, holy shit, I actually like this guy. And he does funny content that I like. But he's now like, holy shit, he's a pedophile? He uses his, like, credit as a YouTuber to
we talked about
to get with minors.
Well, I mean, but I thought he never did anything with someone under like 17 or whatever, and that was the whole thing.
He's not like a pedophile. Just like the way he was like talking to that woman was really creepy and weird, using abuse of his like his fame status to talk to a minor. I mean, let's be real, it's 19 and 17. Usually should be okay, but when you're at like that level status, can get pretty weird.
Well, I mean, I've thought of this before actually, but it's like, well, what are celebrities supposed to do? How do you avoid falling into that, right? Like, if you're a celebrity, do you just, like, have to find someone that, like, doesn't know who you are? Like, that's really hard sometimes.
So,
just find not a minor.
Well, I'm not talking about the pedophilia part. I'm talking about abusing their love for you as a fan. I'm talking about that part.
That's a really interesting topic. Because, hard to say. But it only seems like the issue comes up when talking about situations where it's sexual assault or a minor is involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, honestly, no one cares if it's consensual. Like, let's be honest, is it still fucked up that they abuse their, like, power to get women or men, in, like, Cardi B's case, to, do what they do? Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. But unfortunately, no one cares unless it's because of pedophilia.
Unless it's minors, yeah.
Or it's sexual assault.
Well, I mean, if it's, as long as everyone's consensual and they just, like, have consensual sex, then it's, and they're above 18 and stuff, then I really don't think anything's happening. Like, R. Kelly, like, used his fame to lure women, but he lured them into a sex dungeon, and then he locked them in his house and wouldn't let them leave. So, like, that's completely different, right?
Was he the piss guy, too?
Yes.
I thought he was someone that liked 16-year-old girls.
All of it.
Jesus, he's the entire cream.
He pissed on a whole crowd,
No,
the underage woman, right?
No, not a crowd. But I mean, it's almost not funny. R. Kelly is literally one of the most evil people in the music industry. I mean, he's been facing basically true accusations of pedophilia since like the late 80s, and just constantly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's gone to court 3 times, and this 3rd time kind of stuck to him, which happened like a few years ago. I actually did like a report on it. But it was like, he's like one of the worst people in music. In the 80s, he tried to marry a 16-year-old, literally. That actually happened. And then he just did more stuff since then, paying off witnesses. Sex tapes were even released of him and the minors, but they conveniently decided, actually, no, that's not me in the video anymore. Now that I'm in the courtroom, that's not actually me. And so suddenly it just goes away.
You know what I was going to say about abusing like your status and power stuff? I was just going to bring up like, they're both not minors. Like the same thing happened with like Danny or whatever from Gang Grumps. Like
Danny
Avidan. He like dated and did stuff with like a girl who was like similar like in age to him. Like they're both like adults and stuff, and he, like, I guess you could say she was a fan of his or whatever, and that might have played into it. But ultimately they were both consensual adults. Yeah. So it's like no one really had a problem with it. Like it's okay.
Yeah, I think
ultimately at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you also have
Unless it's like a boss, like employee thing, like
Yeah,
Louis C.K.,
yeah.
like that dynamic, then it's like awful and sexual harassment and stuff.
That's true. And back to YouTube, that's a good segue actually. You have one of the most controversial YouTubers of all time, PewDiePie. He's had a lot of controversies of varying kinds over his long career. Some people, argue about, whether you can support him or not, because there was the Fiverr thing where he had the guys holding up the Jew sign, and then there was the N-word thing. So there was those two instances.
So I'm actually glad that you brought this up, because this is like completely separate idea of what I was talking about. I was simply talking about like the pedophilia issue with like James Charles, Call Me Carson, Eat That Pussy 445, stuff like that. That's actually his name.
I know it is what
so fucking stupid.
That is what it stands for, but most people just call him EDP.
Enter that prison.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You get a clap and a half from me.
Also,
wasn't even mine.
People pointed out that people talked about how he says that the 445 was completely random, but people pointed out that when you add them together, it equals 13.
Oh no! So I'm actually glad that you brought up the point where there's like this other side too, and it really has to do with like iDubbbz and PewDiePie and Pink Guy and that crew, right?
Yeah.
Where they were edgy in the early 2010s. And it really affected YouTube. It really affected the way that it worked, especially with PewDiePie being the #1 subscribed person up until like what, 2018, 2019?
Something like that,
Yeah. Is that he is the face of the platform in PewDiePie's case. Honestly, no one would have gave a shit about what he did if he was not the face of the platform. And at that time, he was edgy.
Well, I mean, the holding up the sign part, that was supposed to be a joke. But the N-word thing was not a purposeful joke.
Yeah.
And that one was, he spit it out. And I think the bigger issue that came with it was not that he actually said it. I mean, obviously saying it is an issue. But it's the fact that it came out so naturally.
Yeah. It's like, who uses that word on a regular basis, It's a very strange thing to...
Which is his argument, and he is correct.
I do not do that as a
I know, but we literally know people, personally, close friends, that do that.
That's true.
And I don't like that when they do it either.
I mean, we're not saying we have to like it. We're just saying that it is a common phenomenon, because that's the part of the argument he made.
So, on that note, right, is that we don't support that. We don't support the fact that he said the N-word. Or, said anti-Semitic stuff when he was there.
It's the fact that he's Swedish is why I don't like him.
You're absolutely right. It's the fact that his influence over the platform and the fact that he said it just completely single-handedly screwed everyone over on the platform. And that's why, especially, I know you, Kevin, you don't like PewDiePie at all because of that. I personally still watch PewDiePie. I like PewDiePie. Yeah. I like him as a person. Did I support him back when all that stuff happened and the adpocalypse started? No, not at all. I thought that was bad. But you can show that he was remorseful. You could see that he actually learned from his mistakes, right? And you see that he wants to make things better. He does a lot of charity work with live streams, and he's out there to do better.
Yeah, I mean, with someone like that, with someone that did offensive stuff, not actual crimes, right? Because apologizing for a federal crime is kind of a hard thing to do. But apologizing for doing something offensive is kind of a easier sell. And I mean, personally, I believed his apologies. I don't think he really meant. I don't think he actually hates Jewish people or black people. I really don't think he does. Because I mean, we've seen real racists on YouTube. We've seen it's a history there. They don't normally hide it that well. And then you have stuff like that. And I mean, Yes, I mean, I guess it just comes down to whether you believe he was actually sorry or not, and I definitely think I do. And plus, when you look at YouTuber apologies, you compare his to like other famous YouTuber apologies. It's pretty easy to see who's actually sorry and who's not.
Yeah. Like, has he done it again? Like, is he still like that?
Yeah. So I forgive. I forgive him. At least that's me. This brings up kind of the canceling. There's a good question that I think that's kind of a good capstone for this. Is that I don't remember his name, but there was an NFL NFL player that was really fucked up. He actually like ran like a dog fighting ring and would like kill dogs that like lost and stuff with his bare hands. Like really awful stuff. And I think he lost his job, and I mean, maybe did like a little jail time. He definitely had to pay a really huge fine. He did a bunch of public apologies for it. He donated to charities. He did charity work. He joined groups that tried to pass harsher penalties for animal abuse. And so, the question is, do you forgive him? That comes down to the individual, right?
Yeah.
But the question, has he done everything in his power to show that he's sorry? I would say yes. And I think that's kind of a good thing to consider with some of these people. It's like whether or not someone forgives someone for something, that really does come down to the individual, right? Some people could never forgive someone for something, even if they were truly, genuinely sorry. Some people, would just never, ever forgive them, right? That's just how some people are. The question, then becomes, have they reasonably done everything they can to show how apologetic they are, that show that they really mean it, because that's all they can do, right? They do everything they can to show they're sorry, and then either people forgive them or they don't, and it just kind of goes out of their hands.
Don't repeat the actions.
Well, yeah.
And I think this actually is a good way to start wrapping it up. Yeah. Is that
with a rap battle?
Oh, god damn it! No, not this time. It's a serious episode, you son of a bitch!
We don't have a shitty rap battle.
I can't wait to...
O.J. Simpson is innocent.
So I think the way that we can wrap this up is that it's something that our listeners, all two of them, one of us doesn't even listen to our own podcast. It's so sad. Is that what they already knew. It's a case-by-case basis. It really depends on what they've done. Whether, obviously you're not going to want to support someone that has done pedophilia or sexual assault or murder, but then you got the lesser stuff, racial slurs being said, just being a creepy person in general, where it's like, do I want to support this person? Do I really want to? And it all comes down to whether or not you as an individual are okay with that. Especially after an apology, right? And it comes down to how much you believe that action is wrong.
Yeah, and when it comes to avoiding their content, I mean, sometimes it's a hard situation. Like Bill Cosby, he had a extremely popular sitcom in the 80s, The Cosby Show, right? Where he's like a patriarch and it's like the sitcom show, right? A lot of actors on that show, right? It's a sitcom. It's a family sitcom. But due to what Bill Cosby did, that show was completely removed from syndication. You can't view The Cosby Show anywhere now just because of what he did, which means all 10 actors in that show have stopped receiving money because of the actions of one actor in that show. So sometimes it's not always easy, like if it's a group ensemble or something, it's not like the Beatles. It's not always easy to... there's more to think about than just boycotting their art and stuff. So that's sometimes another angle you have to consider.
Any final words, Kevin?
Well, I think we've all had some interesting takes. It's definitely a complicated and nuanced issue. But just to wrap it up, I'd say, Liam, so Chris Brown hit Rihanna, right?
Yes.
Would you say he beat the Shitposting in Hell podcast out of her? This has been the Shitposting in Hell podcast. Short episode. See you guys later.